Hi, and welcome to the Teamcpnz Quick Connect podcast, where you can stay informed, keep connected, and learn from one another along the way as well. I'm Richard Gree, your team captain, and on today's podcast, I'm pretty stoked to finally nail it down. We've got Amanda Robinson. So Amanda has just joined our coaching team, which is pretty cool. For those that have been lucky enough to be coached by her so far or run next to her and run group, you'll definitely be swept along with that enthusiasm and keenness to help that she's got. So she's got a fantastic background of pretty much anything and everything. I think mountain biking is the one thing that's gone, maybe not so far, but triathlon, Ironman, coast to coast, marathons, ultra runs, riding her bike fast. She does a great job of it. So without further ado, we're going to bring Amanda onto the show and have a bit of a chat to her about her background and what it means to her about coming on board the Team CPNZ coaching team as well. Amanda, welcome.
Hey, welcome. Thank you. Thanks for having me. I feel like I've been floating around for the last 8 years and doing all of those finish line interviews with you here and there. So it's pretty cool to be now on here as a coach for Team CP. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, that's right. Well, just in our preparation for this, we did talk about that first marathon that you did and that finish line interview as well, which is, what was that, 2018? Is that what we decided? The Christchurch Marathon?
Yeah, I think it was Christchurch Marathon 2018.
Yep. In the rain and wet, and it was June, wasn't it? I do remember that as well. Gosh, 2018. It doesn't feel like that long ago, to be honest. Tell us about that. How much of a build-up did you have for that? Do you remember back to those days?
Oh, that was a long time ago. You're asking me to look back. The build-up. I wasn't a runner before then, so I think I started that year. Can we go back a little bit?
Yeah, let's go back further. Yeah.
So I think it was 5 weeks out from Challenge Wanaka in February. Someone told me that I couldn't do it. And that just lit a fire on me. I'm like, no, we're going to give this a go. 5 weeks out, had never done an ocean swim in my life. Had never biked over 40K. Wasn't even really a runner. And was like, okay, we're just going to give this a go. Knowing that I couldn't finish. Possibly still up there with one of the best events or the most proudest I've been of myself to make it across a finish line. And we can come back to that story. But I think after that, I was like, okay, next up, let's try this marathon thing. We'll give that a go. I think I contacted you. So it wasn't I wasn't a runner leading into this marathon. And we might have had, what would have that been, 3 or 4 months?
Something like that. Yeah, it would be. Yeah. So I think that probably sums you up pretty well, Amanda, doesn't it? We can do this. Let's go and have a crack at this. Let's push hard. Let's see what I'm capable of as a pretty good summary of how you go about doing things, isn't it?
Yeah, probably. It's definitely nothing. I don't want to say. I've now learned not to say things out loud to you, Richard.
Okay, we're not going to say it. Whoa. Yeah.
I was going to say, nothing's off the table, but I'm like, nothing's off the table. Anything can be achieved. So let's give it a go. It's probably how I've run the last 8 years.
If I was more organised, I would bring up the audio of Amanda in our coach meeting the other day saying, Tim was saying, I'm going to head up to Taupo and do the 70.3, and then Amanda pipes up, so I'm going to head up there and do Taupo as well. Which event will you do, Amanda? I'll do the Ironman. Okay, right, well, we've got that recorded live.
You should have brought that up.
Damn it, how did that happen? We're only 4 minutes in and it's already occurred. Let's go back to that Challenge Wanaka, because that is Challenge Wanaka, because that is a very good story. And pretty cool when we reflect on those ones about that was the most proud of an effort that I was. And it's because you're just so nervous on the start line. I'm not actually sure if I'm able to do this, because obviously, as you are now, if you were to do Challenge Wanaka, you know how you're going to swim, you know how you're going to pace yourself, you know what your transitions are going to be like, you know how you're going to take your wetsuit off, you know what you're going to drink on the bike, you know what that hot heat feels like on the run, even though that's pretty ugly, but you know how that's going to go. So take us back to how you were feeling and what that sort of build up was like, and tell us a little bit more about that event.
So like I said, I gave myself 5 weeks to be like, okay, we're going to try to do this. And I think step one was get back in the pool. And I was like, can I still swim 2K? And I ticked that box. I'm like, cool, I can swim 2K in a pool. My next thing was like, can I make it up Dyer's Pass on a road bike? So I think the next day was like, yep, I can make it up. Like, struggled. The first time I ever climbed Dyer's Pass on a bike kind of thing. Like, the bike person was like, tick, okay, let's buy the wetsuit.
Okay.
Arrived the next Wednesday, and it was before was it a fit and able to 2K swim out at Corsia Bay, and I was like, got now 3 weeks till this. Let's see if you can make 2K in open water. So I remember, my friend can vouch for me, we went down, I think that lunchtime, I put my wetsuit on, standing at Cass Bay, and got in the water, and I was like, I can't put my face under the water. Like, I can, like, that fear of like not being able to see. I've been, I was a competitive swimmer when I was younger, so early this kind of thing. So I'm like, I know I can swim this, but the fear of just putting my face under ocean water, I just couldn't do it. So we got out, and I was like, how am I going to swim this 2K tonight? We went back, sat on the beach at Corsia Bay, and I could see the boys, and put the boys out, and I was like, holy, that's a long way away.
Long way.
Long way away. When you're sitting on the beach and you couldn't even put your face in the water at lunchtime today. So I was like, you've got to do this. You've got to do this if you're going to attempt Challenge Monica in 3 weeks. So walked in the water, stood right at the back, and the gun went. Dan Abel, did his thing, and we went off. And I think the first 200 meters was breaststroke. And I was like,
so still haven't put my head under the water yet. I'm still doing this.
I'm breaststroking to the first buoy. And
good on you. That's still committed though. I'm out there and I'm in the sea and I don't know what's underneath me. So let's just do some breaststroke. Good on you.
That's it. And I think it probably, like I said, 200 meters, I was like, okay, try a few strokes. And I was like, still, like, this doesn't feel natural. And I was like, try a few more. And probably first buoy, I was like, okay, I can swim. Like, finished it quite well, like in the end, got it out, and there's just a photo of this massive smile on my face being like, I cannot believe what I have just done, given that at lunchtime you couldn't put your face in the water.
And you never swam in a wetsuit before either, I tell you. You just bought your wetsuit, you've got it on.
Never swam in a wetsuit. So literally like in a pool up and down was my jam. And I was like, I can swim, I can transfer. And I was like, so yeah, overcoming that was like kind of challenge one, was just be able to swim in open water.
Yeah.
And then in 3 weeks' time, I was like, okay, now I'm putting basically 3 things I have never done before back to back in a day. So yeah, going to Challenge Monica, I was like, I don't know how this is going to go, but we're going to give it a go. I think I was on a road bike at that stage. I wore bike pants and then switched to running tights, like for the run. There's obviously a whole bunch of things that you wouldn't, or people with a plan wouldn't do now.
Or have done them before. Yeah.
Yeah, but literally that day was just 1 foot, 1 step, 1 bike pedal in front of the other, just to make it to the finish line. And yeah, that feeling of being like, holy moly, I cannot believe what I had just done. So kind of got me hooked for life.
Yeah, that's right. And I think that's super cool from our perspective, from a coaching perspective, because I mean, we've all been there we've all got that same kind of story that I did this and I didn't actually think I could. But ultimately that's what we're coaching, aren't we? We're trying to help people do that. And for the first time, it just makes it even more special. And for us to be part of that is pretty exciting. And for me, I live vicariously through all the people I coach because it's awesome.
Yeah. And I think that's, like why I wanted to get in it, to help people achieve what they don't think is potentially possible. Like you can go from, you don't have to have a background as a runner or have been doing this all of your life to be able to be like, I want to give this a go. And I think because I was never like a natural athlete when I was younger or anything like that, to be like, no, you can, if it's something that you want to do, let us help you. Like,
yeah, good on you. And then we take the next step through to, okay, well, I clicked a half Ironman distance off, so let's go and do a marathon. Why not? Like the marathon is like probably like 2018 ultras were still pretty new. I wouldn't say they were huge. Like they were definitely more now than what they were then. So the marathon has in history been the like, have you run a marathon? So that's what you've got to do then, isn't it? You've done a half Ironman, so we better run a marathon.
Yeah, that was the next thing that were like, and I think that was the next thing for me was also to set what was scary about is setting a time goal. Like, okay, I'm going to go do this, and I'm also going to aim for something that I might not achieve.
So what was that time goal?
It was 3:30, which I think at the time was pretty standard. It was the Boston Marathon qualifying time back in the day or something. I don't know, possibly something like that. But at this stage, I wasn't running fast. I think I remember training for that. I was like, oh yay, finally sub 6-minute Ks for a 5K, and so to go that much faster for 42 felt like a big jump, but
and how did you go?
I think 12 seconds to spare. Again,
so much time to spare.
Could have walked to that finish line. Again, there's this photo of me coming around the corner where I'm like looking up at the clock. I used to, I think that year it was into the square, so you came around like the chalice and looked up at the clock. And I'm just like, I've got, at that stage, it's probably, I've got 30 seconds to get from there to there. So I'm like, I'm good. And again, just super that proud of going into it being like, don't know how this is going to go, but we're going to give it our best shot.
Yeah, good on you. Good on you. I'm pretty sure in that build-up I talked to you, if you like, at that stage, I've run 2 marathons since, an Ironman marathon and then the Mototepe marathon, which are challenging marathons to run. But I ran one marathon, I think it was 3:19 I ran in Dunedin, where we were into a southerly storm on the first leg from we were Albatross Colony into Dunedin, then you ran out to Port Chalmers, and the second half was faster because you got blown out there. And I think I did 3:19. I think I said to you, as if you run faster than that, then I'll have to do another one again, because I've only at that stage only done one. What was your next time?
I think it was a 3:24 the next year.
Yeah, so very close. Quite nervous.
Although, if we add the 10% extra for being a female, I'm like, no.
10%? You give me the 10%? Oh, come on. I actually think that I shouldn't be saying this out loud or live or recorded, but I'm pretty sure somebody actually has done that I've said to them, if you run after quicker than 3:19, I'll have to run one again as well.
If but that person listens to this.
If that person listens to it and tell me who they are, then might be have to sort of step up again. But at this stage, I'm pretty sure it has happened. But I swept it under the carpet at the time. So I'll just leave that out there. Oh, God, what have I done? Okay, well, let's move on. So, like you mentioned about coming on board our coaching team. So tell it, like, why coaching for you? Obviously, you also work with coffee culture as well, and we've worked with you in terms of the tour to coffee culture and all that sort of stuff. You're involved in their marketing team, and then I guess we've worked with you. So why the coaching? Why the step to want to do a little bit more of that?
Yeah, well, not only working for obviously coffee culture, I like to say, full-time drug dealer. Am I allowed to say that? Coffee dealing. And also a part-time group fitness instructor. So since my uni days, for the last 12 years, I think I've been a group fitness instructor all around Canterbury. And have just loved it, have loved helping people achieve just the goals and kind of fitness and strength in that kind of capacity. And a little while ago, someone came up to me at the end of class and they were like, oh, you're not going to be here next week. And I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry. Like, I'm going to really miss you too. I really enjoy it. And they were like, you can tell. And I was like, in that moment, I was like, it is like the fact that people can tell that I enjoy helping them so much obviously comes across and everything, doing the stuff that I love. And I was like, why don't I transfer that something else that I love? And have been, like you said, in the kind of roundabout TMCP for the last 8 years into endurance sport. And I've done enough things now across the board in Christchurch, in Canada or New Zealand, a whole range of events across the country that I'm like, yep, I've done that. I've felt that. I've known kind of how that goes to have that experience behind me, which is kind of cool too. And like I said before, just helping people achieve either what they don't think was possible or something a little bit faster, whatever goal it is. I almost feel like it sits with me as much as it sits with their goal, that excitement. And that's why I wanted to jump on board with you guys.
Nice. So you talked about your challenge Wanaka being something you're most proud of, and you didn't really know how that was going to go. Tell us about, we can talk about the fluffy stuff and the amazing stuff, but tell us about a day that wasn't your day, that didn't quite go to plan.
You've been around this, there's a few of them.
Damn it.
Nothing always goes to plan.
Yeah, exactly. And that's part of the reason why you keep turning up, isn't it? Because you want to try and nail that. But
yeah. Most recently, Ironman 70.3 Worlds, so last December, didn't really go to plan. This is going to be very much of experience to what not to do, if anyone's listening. I think, so I qualified back in 2019,
yes,
5 years ago, to the date. And since then had 2 kids in that time, since qualifying.
Cool.
So kind of went into it with being, maybe not, I should have gone into it with more realistic expectations as well, going like, you're bringing 2 kids with you. You don't, you're juggling, their snacks, their tantrums, their naps whilst trying to prepare for this race, not only in every day leading up to it, but while we were in Taupo as well.
So the whole family went to Taupo?
Yeah, whole family and grandparents to help us out.
Good stuff. That's
nice.
good. That works. Yep.
Yeah, but even just anyone with 2 kids or more will know the logistics of trying to manage 2 toddlers running around while you're trying to stay calm and prepare, which I think is where I went wrong, number one. And I guess what it's a do as we say, not as I actually did. And that's the plan. Number one, write it down. So although I had thought it through and, I know I need this nutrition, I know I need this gear, I never wrote it down. And I think looking back, that would have taken such a cognitive load off my,
especially with the kids, especially with all the other stuff going on as well. That changes things too. Doesn't it? It's a different,
would have just been, okay, tick this box. Yep, that's the gear, rather than okay, I have to think this through. So I think I went into it pretty stressed and flustered, which is not always how you want to feel going in.
Especially for a big event like that as well. Like you put a lot into it, having a lot of energy and time into that. Yep.
Yeah. So that was my learning number one. There's a bit of a list. Okay. Number 2 was the heat prep. So I think it turned out to be about a 26-degree hot, humid day on the days that we raced. And most of my training, like I was telling you before, Richard, sits between about 4 a.m. and 6 a.m. in the morning where the kids are still in bed.
That's still like 4 a.m. to 5 a.m. in my book is still nighttime. I guess that just shows his commitment as well. Like if you're going to get this done, then I have to do it then. Otherwise, I'm actually going to be swept away with the day. I'm just actually like, I might be able to get done something later, but I probably, who knows what it's going to look like.
Yeah, I think that's what I thought in my head. I was like, get it up, get it done. That you can get it done in the garage. They're going to be sleeping, whether it's on. So I'd say 95% of my training going into that year was either on the bike trainer or a treadmill. Which 4 to 6 in the morning in the garage doesn't prepare you for a 26-degree heat, hot day very well. No. And I hadn't done the crank the heaters and that kind of thing. So it was a bit little too late in terms of my heat preparation, and probably just go ride the bike outside sometimes.
Yeah.
But then the biggest thing that, looking back on it now, I'm like, seems so silly. And, like if you were talking to people, you'd be like, why didn't you just do this? And was nutrition. So I know what I needed to do. I might not have written it down, but I've been doing the same, kind of thing. I had practiced it 4 weeks out in a simulation, which was the full bike run. I didn't do this one, but practice nutrition on point, great time. I think I went over a speed bump at about maybe 5Ks into the bike and lost a bottle, which had about 100 grams of carbs in it. So it was my main kind of energy for that ride. And I was like, I didn't stop to pick it up because I was like, next aid station, we'll just grab electrolytes and make do. You've got a couple of like a gel here as a backup. Kind of cool. Went through that aid station, grabbed water by accident, and I was like, again, you look back at it now, hindsight, I'm like, should have turned around and grabbed the electrolytes. Like at the end of the day, that extra 3 minutes could have saved my race. Because the next one was about 45K in, where I finally got electrolytes on board and tried to start taking in my carbs. But at that stage, I think I had dug myself in too much of a hole. I think my power output ended up being from that last 30K about 50% of my FTP type thing. So I was like, barely. Started cramping because of the heat and feeling sick. So I wasn't taking in the water that I needed to, thinking that I was just going to throw it up. Got to the run. I was like, I don't want to do this. And I'm so grateful that my 2 kids were standing there, because I think if they weren't, I would have been like,
but they're like, go, Mum. No, damn it. How can I stop now?
I was like, they don't know. They'll know, they'll see Mum coming. And so from there, I was like, make it 1.6K. Thankfully, the Ironman races have aid stations all the time. 1.6. I was like, just make it to the next one. Just one more. Just make it to the next one. So super stoked that I stayed in it and I finished. But a day that was pretty rough in the grand scheme of how I wanted it to be.
But that's the thing, like, it doesn't always go to plan. At the end of the day, you tried as hard as you could. It wasn't what you wanted it to be, but you finished, and the kids see your medal that you finished, and you're proud of your effort as well. Otherwise, they'll be asking, why didn't you finish, Mummy? What are you standing here for? Why didn't you finish? And you're like, I'm not going as fast as what I should, but you did. You dug in, and you got it done when it was ugly, and that's pretty awesome. Yeah.
So stoked to still make it across that line. It wasn't, the time that I wanted, and just to be part of the event at the end of the day. It was an amazing experience.
No, that's fantastic. So you've also done a bit of multisport. You did this year, you were involved in a 3-person one-day team, and hearing your story about putting some hurt on to the other riders on the first ride was pretty good. Tell us quickly about that.
I don't know if I was putting the hurt. I don't know what story I've told there, but
well, not necessarily the hurt, but they were trying to drop you, but they couldn't.
So we knew that. I don't want to say obviously. Having a female on the bike put us potentially at a little bit of a disadvantage.
Because in this event, everybody, that has to be a mixed team. So you've
got to have one female in your team,
or 2 females and 1 guy.
Or at least one.
So you were the female on the team, and you guys were gunning to win it, and obviously other teams had put their cyclist as the guy, which would therefore, hey, we want to push and do well in that one. So tell us about how that went.
I knew that I would have to have the only chance of me making a good bunch was to have a good run off the beach. So 2.2K that I knew that I had to be quite fit for. So managed to actually run that really comfortably. Like, no one seemed to be putting down too much pace there. And so one guy went off, and I'm like, well, he's not going to run he's not going to ride by himself. So let him go. And then just sit with these other 2 guys that were running like without raising my heart rate too much. I was like, okay, this is comfortable. We can do this.
We're good. Yep.
So ran into T1, whatever. That run to bike transition, got on my bike. And sure enough, this guy who had run a bit faster was just sitting up waiting. Yep. And as I came past him, he was like, there's 2 behind you. Like, let's wait and we go. And I'm like, okay, sweet. So a bunch of 4 of us. Yeah. 3 guys and myself. And I think it might have been halfway in. One of the guys was like, what's your name? And so I was like, do I tell them a fake name? Because they're obviously trying to work out what team I'm
Not Amanda.
I'm Andy. I was like, Sophie, like, I did. And so I was like, oh, Amanda. And they're like, oh, shit, if you're with us now, we have no chance. And so I was just holding on for dear life for as long as I could to those guys. And unfortunately, they dropped me, I think, at about, is it Jackson's?
Okay, right, so not too far.
Yeah, but still came in, I think, with a minute behind them. And I think we had kind of done the math that it was like, okay, you can't like try to get 10 minutes within any kind of male rider. And we're probably setting our runner up pretty good. To go well, So had an amazing first bike, and that was really fun.
Yeah. And you and the Further Faster crew, you ended up winning it?
Yes, we did. Yep. By a bit of a margin. Yep. So it was Odie, my partner, and Charles. Yep.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, that was cool. It's cool, fun to see you on the finish line, and that was a pretty fun finish line interview as well there. Tell us about your kayaking. You learnt to kayak. That was another bit of a challenge with the view you were going to do the longest day a few years ago.
Yeah. So I think I was part of a team. I was a cyclist for a team of Coast to Coast back in 2019. So I think I had just finished in 2018 a 70.3 at the end of the year. And someone's team cyclist pulled out, I think, over Christmas, going into Coast to Coast. And they're like, do you want to? And again, I had never ridden in a bunch. So I was like, I think I came along to the Teamcpnz bunch ride. I'm like, okay, typical me. 2 weeks, Richard, teach me how to bunch ride. Like, let's do this. I so learned how to bunch ride for that, to be able to be part of that. And I just remember finishing that Coast to Coast finish line. And I'm like, I want to be part of this atmosphere again. So signed up to longest day. Naturally, that's your next. Of course you would. In 2020. And so I'm going to have to learn how to kayak. I've never been in a boat before. And so thankfully I had 2 really good kayakers. Just be like, if you want to do longest day, we'll teach you how to kayak. And I think it was coming from such a swimming, like always being quite a good swimmer. I've never really had a fear of drowning. Like, it's just, I'm like, I could, from quite a young age, plonk me in the middle of the ocean and I could probably have got myself to the side. Well, maybe not if I couldn't make it under the water, but,
Once I've got my head under the water, I'll be straight.
I couldn't make it. Like, I could treat water to get by myself. But then as soon as you add boats, I just had this massive fear of coming out of a boat and being under the water. And so the first thing I had to get over was just being okay with falling out. So I remember the first thing we did was we went to Gorge Bridge and I was in my wetsuit, my swimming wetsuit. And he's like, all we're going to do is tip you out over and over and over again to get used to that. Okay, like it's not the end of the world, like, and so we just in like a real safe space. And I feel like this was like the middle of winter by this stage.
It feels cold. Like listening to it at the moment, it's just like we should start at a swimming pool or something. But
no, straight into the river.
Yeah, good.
I think in the swimming pool would have felt too safe for me. I would have been
true. The lake, the lake could have been a good option.
Yeah, possibly, but no,
we're doing it properly. Good on you. Yeah.
So you have to get over that fear of being in a boat, coming out of a boat. making it through. I spent, I think, half of that winter upside down in the YMAC, like trying to go from absolutely nothing to being able to be a strong paddler across 2019.
Yes. And you made it. You got your paddling up to the point ready for race day, eh?
Yep. Won a few of the novice races back in the day, I think, and ended up being quite a solid paddler that I think, although I had to pull out of the longest day, did most of the training for it.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the next year we signed up for me to paddle again and made it through the YMAC Classic. So
nice. So tick that box. Haven't quite completed the individual coast to coast yet, but it's kind of you've done it all. You've worked it all.
Done
around
the parts. Yep. I've raced the mountain run, raced the bike, raced the kayak course.
So if you were to give some advice to others, it feels like that advice is going to be sign yourself up, have a crack. It'll be sweet. Would that be fair?
Well, my advice is why not try to give it a go? I definitely, obviously, would have probably gone into that very first challenge Wanaka better with a bit of planning and coaching, probably. But I'm kind of like, life's too short to wonder, I guess. Why not give it a go?
Yeah, set your targets big. And then I guess
dream high.
That's right. And then your job as a coach is to help people try and figure out how we're actually going to do this stuff. Yeah, that's right. And that's the fun stuff, isn't it? And enjoying the process of it. And obviously, where you're at the moment, that was the starting point. But all these other adventures you've had along the way are sort of continuing to challenge you and to get you out of bed in the morning. And obviously, you've got a pretty strong why. Because you've got to get yourself out of bed at 4 a.m. with kids that may have been up in the night and things as well.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all part of the journey though too, because like I said, I didn't make it to the longest day because I ended up having Luke, first one instead. But there's so many great stories and learnings and challenges all the way up to that day. That made it all worthwhile.
Fantastic.
Probably didn't say it at the time, mid-July, upside down in a boat, but
It's good. Well done, Amanda. Hey, well, thank you so much for joining us. It's great to get a bit of an understanding about where you've come from, and you have fired me up in terms of all those stories and the enthusiasm. Let's just go do it. It's awesome. Thank you
so much, Richard.
Yep, cool.
And hopefully I get to meet a whole lot of people watching in the near future.
Yes, and we won't worry about that.
Events.
Exactly. No, well done. And we won't worry about that marathon chat. That we'll squash that out before this goes live.
Yeah, if you could cut the Ironman bit out too. Yeah.
Got a little bit out of hand. Well done. Okay, over and out. Thanks, Amanda.